Okay, guys, so today we are doing our Unit 2 review. Remember that you have to have this complete to be able to do your Unit 2 recovery test at the end of this class period. So for the first half, we are going to be talking about going over addition with polynomials, subtraction, as well as literal equations. And then the second half of this class period, you will be taking your Unit 2 retake if you would like. If you would not, if you are happy with your summative grade and you are passing your summative grade for Unit 2, then you can do the Unit 2 extra formative, extra credit work that will replace all of your formative grades. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start talking about number 1. So it says combine the following polynomials using addition. So remember, with our polynomials, we have to add our like terms. So here we've got 3x to the fourth, and we're adding that to negative 5x to the fourth. So we look and we only add the terms that have the same exponent. So here we have 3x to the fourth plus, and then we have our negative 5x to the fourth. Now, you could just say that it's plus negative is the same thing as minus, okay? But that's okay. And then we can go ahead and simplify that. So that becomes negative 2x to the fourth. And then let's look at the next two terms. So we've got negative 7x to the third plus x to the third. So let's rewrite those next to each other. So negative 7x to the third plus x to the third. So when we combine these two, we are adding the coefficients, so negative 7 plus, remember there's that invisible 1 right here, so that becomes negative 6x to the third, and that is my final answer. So I'll go ahead. There you have it. All right, so then let's look at number 2. Number 2, we have 5n to the fourth minus 8n plus n plus 6n to the fourth. So again, we want to go ahead and find our like terms. So we've got 5n to the fourth, and I'm going to write that down here, plus 6n to the fourth. So we're going to go ahead and bring that down as well. So I'm just writing them right next to each other. And then I also have negative 8n, so a minus 8n plus n. So now I have them written next to each other. Remember, in standard form, we always want to have our higher exponent coming first, and then as we go further down, the exponent decreases. Okay, so if we combine our like terms, we've got 5n to the fourth plus 6n to the fourth, which gives us 11n to the fourth power. And then we have our minus 8n plus n, so negative 8 plus 1 gives me a negative 7n, and that is my final answer right here. All right. All right, so the next one, we're combining multiple terms as well. So the first one, we've got 8m to the fourth, and let's look in the next one. So we are adding that to negative 4m to the fourth. So I'm going to write those next to each other, 8m to the fourth plus a negative, so subtracting 4m to the fourth. Okay, and then I'm going to move on. So I've got, and I'm going to skip over this positive 5. I'm going to go to the next one that I have in here. And there's also a 7m as well. So we're going to go ahead and write those. So we can just write this plus 5. Let's go ahead and write that down here because there's nothing else to combine it with. And then we have our negative 2m plus 7m. But we can't forget about this last guy over here, this 8m to the third. So we've got to tack him on at the very end. And we're going to end up combining all of our like terms that we can. So we have 8m to the fourth minus 4m to the fourth. That's going to be 4m to the fourth. And then we can go ahead. Let's bring this guy right here, 8m to the third. Okay, he would be the next in line. So we're going to go ahead and write him plus 8m to the third. Then we're going to combine our like terms here. So we've got negative 2m and positive 7m, which becomes plus 5m and then we have that plus 5 at the very end. So notice here, guys, again, we want to make sure that our polynomial is written from our highest exponent, which is 4, to no exponent, our constant, which is 5. Okay, number 4, we're going to do the same thing again. We are going to start combining. And if you want to, you can rewrite these from highest to lowest. So rewriting them in standard form first, if that helps you. Okay, so what you could do is you could rewrite it as 7m to the third plus 6m to the second plus 8m. So now we have those in order, and we can go ahead and rewrite the next one as well. So plus 7m to the third minus 2m squared, and then plus 7m. Okay, so you can rewrite those as well if that helps you with combining your like terms. So the first one that we've got is 7m to the third plus 7m to the third. So when I combine those two, I'm going to go ahead and combine them. That becomes 14m to the third power. Then I'm going to look at my next one. So that would be 6m squared and negative 2m squared. So combining those two, 6 and negative 2 becomes a positive 4m squared. And then we look at the very last one. That is going to be 8m plus 7m, which when I combine those two, it becomes 15m. And that is my final answer. So I've added all of my like terms together. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to combine the following polynomials using subtraction now. Okay, so remember when we're doing subtraction, we want to go ahead and distribute that negative to everything in the next set of parentheses. So go ahead and distribute that negative. So we're going to rewrite out the entire equation again. So we've got 3x to the fourth plus 8x, and now because we've distributed the negative, now we're just adding negative x to the fourth plus 7x. So notice the sign in both of the x to the fourth and negative 7x, they flip signs. So now it's easier to combine. So all we're going to do is combine our like terms now. So we've got 3x to the fourth plus negative x to the fourth. So if we combine those two, that becomes 2x to the fourth power. And then we have 8x plus 7x. So when I combine those two, it becomes plus 15x. And that's it. So it's easier if you just go ahead and distribute that negative and then combine like terms. Number 6, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to distribute that negative to the 4x and to the negative 8x to the third. So rewriting this, I've got 4x minus 8x to the third plus, because now we're just adding, we're combining our like terms, and now I've got negative 4x plus 8x to the third. So when I end up combining my like terms, I've got 4x and negative 4x. Well, those cancel out. You're left with 0. And then we combine negative 8x to the third and positive 8x to the third. Well, that again is 0. So our final answer here is 0. There is nothing left. And that's it. Number 7, again, we're doing the same exact thing. We want to make sure that we distribute the negative to everything inside the next set of parentheses. So we show that distribution to everything. So we're just changing the signs in the second polynomial. So we have x to the fourth plus 8x squared minus 6x. And then it's going to be that plus negative 5x to the third plus 7x squared minus 5x. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to combine like terms. There is nothing to combine with x to the fourth, so I'm just going to bring that down. Then I notice that there is not any other term besides negative x to the third. So I'm going to bring that down next to the x to the fourth. So minus x, 5x to the third. So notice I'm keeping the sign right here. That negative is going to go with the 5x to the third. Now we can go ahead and start combining like terms. So we've got 8x squared plus 7x squared. So that becomes plus 15x squared. And then we have negative 6x and negative 5x. And remember, we're just combining these like terms, so that becomes negative 11x. And that is our final answer for our polynomial once we have subtracted. All right, the last one that we have of subtracting polynomials. So again, we are going to take this negative, the subtraction sign, and we are going to distribute it to everything inside the second set of parentheses. So we have 8r squared minus 8r to the third minus 8r plus, now we are adding that to negative 5r squared plus 4r minus r to the third. And again, we've just changed each one of the signs in the second set of parentheses. So now I'm going to find my highest exponent in both of them, which would be negative 8r to the third and negative r to the third. So when I combine those two, negative 8r to the third plus negative r to the third is going to be negative 9r to the third power cubed, right? And then the next one that I'm going to combine is 8r squared plus negative 5r squared. When I combine those two, 8 plus negative 5 is going to give me a positive 3r squared. Then the last two terms that I can combine are going to be the negative 8r and the positive 4r. When I combine those two, negative 8 and positive 4 is negative 4r. And that is my final answer for number 8 when I combine my polynomials using subtraction. All right, so now we're going to move on to the multiplication. So remember, with multiplying polynomials, okay, for the first one, for number 9, this one's pretty easy because all we're going to do is we're going to distribute this 2 to everything inside the parentheses. So we're just using that distribution method. So 2 times 6x gives me 12x, and then 2 times negative 3 gives me negative 6. And that is my final answer for the first one. So the first one is pretty easy. We're just making sure we distribute. Now, number 10, this is where we like to use the box method. Remember the box method, we take our first polynomial, okay, our first binomial, and we're going to say 8a, and we're going to separate it out a little bit, minus 5. And we're going to draw a line straight down the middle between those two terms. Then we're going to draw another line right here, and we're going to create a box. So now we're going to use the second term, okay, the second binomial. We have 3a, and then we're going to write minus 7 down here. Notice I have that minus sign with the 7, so I know that it's going to be a negative 7 that's being multiplied to other things. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the line in between those. And now I can go ahead and start multiplying. So I have 8a times 3a gives me 24a to the second power. Remember, when we see multiplication, we are adding our exponents, and there are invisible exponents of 1 on those a's. Okay, so then I multiply 3a times negative 5. That's going to give me negative 15a. Then I multiply 8a times negative 7. Well, that gives me negative 56a. And then the final one, I'm going to multiply negative 7 times negative 5, which gives me a positive 35. Now, I'm not done yet. I want to go ahead and rewrite this all in order. So I'm going to write 24a squared. And then I'm going to write minus 15a minus 56a plus 35. Now I can go ahead and I can combine my like terms. When I combine my like terms, I've got negative 15a and negative 56a. And when I add those two together, I get negative 71a. So my final answer is going to be 24a squared minus 71a plus 35. And that is my final answer for multiplying two binomials. All right, and you can tell that these two are the same because they have the same variable a with the same exponent. All right, so let's look at number 12 now. So again, we've got our first binomial. I'm going to go ahead and write that as 2x plus 3. And notice I'm giving that space in between the two terms, and I'm drawing that line straight down the center. Then I'm going to go ahead and write my second binomial right here. So I've got 4x minus 4, so I've got 4x minus 4. I'm going to go ahead and draw that straight line across. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply the different terms together. Remember that these exponents are 1. So 2x to the first times 4x to the first is going to give me 8x to the second power, because when we multiply, we're adding our exponents. Then I've got 4x times 3, which would end up giving me 12x. Then I multiply 2x times negative 4, which gives me negative 8x. And the last one, I've got negative 4 times 3, which gives me negative 12. Remember, I want to rewrite this in order. So I've got 8x squared plus 12x minus 8x minus 12. Now I can go ahead and combine my like terms right here. And you can also see that they're diagonal in the boxes as well. But simplifying that is going to be 8x squared plus 4x minus 12. And that is my final answer for number 11. All right, last one for number 12. Again, we're going to set this up so we have our first binomial, and you're going to write it as 4x minus 1, and then draw a straight line down. Now here we've got 3 terms in our next polynomial. So we've got x squared minus 8x plus 4. So we're going to go ahead and draw those lines, separating them out. So notice that subtraction sign sticks with the 8. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and start multiplying our terms together. So we've got 4x, which remember has an exponent of 1 there. So 4x to the first times x to the second gives me 4x to the third. Then I multiply x squared times negative 1 gives me negative x squared. 4x to the first times negative 8x gives me negative 32x squared. Whoop. There we go. And then negative 8x times negative 1 gives me a positive 8x. Oh, my thing is messing up. Hold on. Sorry, guys. There we go. All right. And then 4x times 4 gives me 16x. And then negative 1 times positive 4 gives me a negative 4. So again, you can rewrite this all out. So let's start with the highest exponent. So we've got 4x to the third minus x squared minus 32x squared plus 8x plus 16x minus 4. And if you'll notice here, we've got not just one set of like terms to combine, but also another set right here. So when we finally combine all of those, I'm going to rewrite this up here. I've got 4x to the third minus 33x squared plus 24x minus 4. All right, and that is it for part 1 of the Unit 2.